That wasn't a win by the Bengals yesterday. That was a statement by Cincinnati. And then afterwards, the perfect punctuation. Let's play it again because it's just so awesome. With Tracy Wolfson of CBS on the field after the game, here's Joe Burrow.
Yesterday, just that chip on your shoulder, everyone talking about a neutral AFC Championship game, not even thinking about you guys. How much did that motivate you coming into this?
You better send those refunds.
I think we underestimated, or we didn't make a big deal enough last week of just how upset the people in Cincinnati, the organization, et cetera, the players were about the way they felt the league handled the whole situation. The fact that that game was scheduled, that tickets were sold, 50,000 tickets already sold in Atlanta for a game that only got played if the Bengals lost.
But I think the other piece of it is this. It wasn't going to change dude, though.
I agree.
Like, that's who he is. You know, when you watch in pregame, he's throwing the football, spinning around in the snow. Like, that's who Joe Burrow is. Like, he in no way thinks that any moment is too big for him. And when you can go into the opponent stadium and understand you're standing across the field from Josh Allen, who is an absolute alien, and know to yourself, I'm the best quarterback on this field, and I have the best football team. That's who Joe Burrow is. And it doesn't matter if this game is played in Cincinnati, if this game is played at a neutral site, or if this game is played in Buffalo. He does not lose big football games, whether it was in 2019 at LSU or it's been the last 2 years in the playoffs. There is no quarterback that has shown up for his team in every single moment like Joe Burrow has.
You said it. What's the first thing you said to me this morning about Joe Burrow?
Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in football. Quarterback. Now, Chiefs fans, Patrick's the best player. Patrick is the most talented quarterback that has ever stepped foot on the NFL field. But when it comes to quarterbacking and understanding defenses and understanding play calls and how to attack defenses and the timing and getting the ball, Joe's the best. He's the best going right now when it comes to all the things that we can write down about what it takes to play quarterback at a high level. He does it all exceptionally well. And he's the guy that really is the model for what quarterbacks should be in the future, because there's the athleticism. Patrick's an outlier. Stop chasing Patrick Mahomes if you're an NFL team.
Chasing ghosts.
You ain't gonna find them.
Yep.
Lamar's an outlier. Jalen Hurts is an outlier, those guys, because they do things that you can't figure out how. Joe does all the things that you sit there and go, oh, I know how he does that stuff. But he's the only one who does it.
Yeah.
He's the only one who does all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it earlier. This is a franchise changer.
Yeah.
The minute he came into the Cincinnati Bengals, he changed the entire franchise.
Right.
I mean, you know what? Nobody wanted to go to Cincinnati. Oh, they get terrible facilities. They got all this. Now they got facilities. Wonder why? Because now they got a stud.
Right.
Everybody
Don't
wants
you think
to
guys
go
are
to
going to go?
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
They want to go to Cincinnati
Players-wise.
And so to me, look, Greeny, we'll remember this guy. He's got the charisma, name it.
Absolutely.
He really does.
Yeah.
And when I look at, and by the way, God, I hate to say it, but he reminds me so much of that cat that used to play in New England, the young Tom Brady. That's what he looks like. So to me, like, golly, I don't know if he'll win six Super Bowls, but I know he's going to win a bunch.
The other part is this, though. He never gets tired of doing the right thing, right? Like, if I got to throw it behind the line to Jamar Chase, that's fine. We might get 8. We'll get 2 on the next snap. Joe Burrow has figured out that, you know what? Doing the right thing consistently and over time can make me great.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing from Joe Burrow. When you're a guy that had to transfer because someone more talented than you got the job at Ohio State, or when you go into college and you've worked to play, you learn to do all the little things that allow you to get on the field. And as you mature, you can possibly turn into
You know who he is? He's Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
Derek Jeter. He's not going to wow you physically. Everything's done the right way. And then in the biggest moments,
that's what it is.
Do you want someone else to have the football other than him? Be in that moment.
If you might consider it, it might be the guy that he goes up against this week.
Yes.
And you will hear over and over and over again that the Bengals and Burrow have beaten Mahomes 3 consecutive times, 2 of them on the road. But the reality is this game is skewed significantly by the injury, right? Like, I'm not a doctor.
Right.
You guys are football players. You know better than anybody. The high ankle sprain, there's no way he's 100% Sunday, right?
Unlikely, no. But the reality is this. Patrick still does stuff that you just can't comprehend and you can't defend no matter how perfect you are. If you had to kind of box in, what do you want to do against Patrick Mahomes? You would sit there and say, well, we want to play tight man coverage. We want to be physical against guys. Jacksonville does that. Cincinnati's going to try to do that. The second thing is we want to spy Patrick Mahomes with 2 people. Great. Jacksonville does this. Third thing, we want to move him to his left, not to his right. You did all 3 of that. Still get a completion. You know what I'm saying? Like and I remember saying this about Patrick early on. You could have the perfect play call, and you could execute it perfectly, and it won't matter. Can he be that guy this weekend with the injury?
That's the question. We have a few seconds here. Yeah. Can he do that?
He can absolutely do that. Ankle. There's been so many times, though, that even as great as he is, that there's no pressure on Patrick Mahomes. There's pressure on Patrick Mahomes. What Dan said is right. He's the best player in football. And there's never a time where he steps on the field and we question, can he be the best quarterback that day? We are going to question that the entire week.
How much a factor is the ankle, though, Rex?
Well, it's a huge factor, and I'm going to tell you something. He's also facing the best defensive coordinator in the National Football League, and Lou Anarumo. To me, he's had a plan. And you know what? Yeah, he's been beat 3 times in a row by Cincinnati, right? And, by the way, he was healthy then. So don't kid yourself right now. I don't see it happening.
There's a fascinating matchup. The single biggest one, RC, is that in the biggest game of the year, the Cowboys quarterback played terribly.
The Cowboys quarterback played like he played most of the season. And we can come in here and just put it on the San Francisco 49ers and say that they were great. Or we can say that Kellen Moore didn't do what he was supposed to do. But that wasn't it. Dak Prescott is a guy that we've seen execute the quarterback position at an extremely high level. And he was flat out bad yesterday. When you go back and watch the tape, you'll realize that Dak Prescott didn't do anything well. There isn't a moment in that game where you say to yourself, this right here is the Dak we needed to see all day. Or if Dak could have made more of these plays, we'd feel better about where Dak Prescott is going forward. There were no redeemable qualities. It wasn't one of those situations where you say, my quarterback was fooled or my quarterback wasn't put in positions to win, and so my quarterback didn't play well, but I see the progression and where we can go. What you say here is, we once had a quarterback that was good at all of these other things, which made it okay that he wasn't good or wasn't great at others. Now he's no longer good at those things. So you have to look at Dak Prescott and say, if you aren't going to be a quarterback that's dependable, how do you elevate us above that? And yesterday we saw that the elevation above that is nil, and that's why Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers are moving on.
Danny will have tape in a second, but let me get a thought from Rex, because how do you explain it? It's not easy to explain, because this is a player who did not used to look like this. And quarterbacks generally tend to go in this direction when they're as talented as he is, and instead this year it went like that.
But Greeny, that's what blows me away. I'll disagree with Ryan on this. He did one thing extremely well.
What?
He handled that press conference unbelievable. And I'm going to tell you this.
It's worth saying that, yes.
And I'm saying this is a leader. I want this guy to play quarterback for me. I'm going to say why. I want him on my team. All right? He never once sold out that dang receiver that stopped that converts a route in like he's scrambling. He never once sold that dude out. Like, come back to the football on that out. Where the hell was he? He's going the opposite direction. Not one time did he sell him out.
Okay.
Not one time.
He doesn't do that.
He never sold out. He never sells out the coaching.
Yeah.
How in the hell does Dak Prescott, all he does is sit in the pocket now? This used to be one of the best quarterbacks using his legs, mobility. Jalen Hurts, all those type of guys, Josh Allen. We don't see that anymore. Is that Dak Prescott's fault too? I don't know. And to me, that's what I don't see. You talked about it, RC. We've seen this guy play at an extremely high level.
Yeah.
Right? Number one thing, Daniel, you talk about protecting the football, right? Playing that position. So true.
Yeah.
So true. He used to do it about as well as any quarterback in the
Very
league.
true. Yep.
And now he's not doing it. So he's been reckless and all that. That's why I'm like, look, I'm a huge Dak Prescott supporter. You guys know that. But I mean, yeah, did he play terrible? Absolutely did. But I want to dig in deeper to say, why? Why is this happening?
I think the vantage point is part of the problem, though, because we want Dak Prescott, and analysts and they want Dak Prescott to play